Greetings, it's your buddy, your pal, your friend, your teacher, your guide, ABW, and I want to talk about the lesbian wingman. It's a real thing, and it's very beneficial thing if you can find you a lesbian wingman. Now, I want to just talk briefly about it, in case you didn't know about it. So, I talked briefly about when I was engaged in pimping activities, and my first my first my first B was she went both ways actually, but she liked girls. She liked girls, and she was able to man, she had a gift. She was beautiful, man, and she attracted, of course, men, and she definitely attracted females, man, and she had a way of crossing territories seamlessly. She could be uh, kind of like what this girl right here. She kind of, and actually, no, I didn't even really notice it. I was picking. She actually kind of similarly. She was way more attractive than her, but she actually kind of had features a lot like her, to where she could seamlessly maneuver between being, if she did certain things with her hair, certain things with how she made herself up or made herself down, dressed down. She would look very much tomboyish and like a dyke, like a stud. But then she could transform and put on heels, put on a dress, and man, she was a stunning, very feminine woman. And so there are certain females that can do that. There's certain studs that yeah, you can tell that they were designed to be studs. And if they try to be women, be look feminine, it's very awkward. But then you got those ones that can seamlessly maneuver through both worlds, and it works. And if you can get one of those usually are the ones that have just a magic about them that that man. But that was in a different environment. That was in an environment to where she was picking up girls for for employment, for management and employment, and an opportunity to build, to work towards something financially, right? In that setting, as a pimp, and that lasted for its time, for its season. But I learned, I gained a lot of interesting insight from this female who went both ways. Then at fast forward a different time, I did through the course of time, I did befriend casually a female who was very much kind of butch, but she was cute though. She had a feminine way about her, and just as an aside, humbly speaking, man, a lot of these a lot of these masculine women, these butches, these dykes, these bull dykes, these studs, a lot of them, uh, a lot of them are just a hyper version of scorned women, confused women, scared women, women who are very protective of themselves, and so they express themselves in a heightened, hyper masculine way. It's just as a protection, and then some, a lot of them is just a phase that they go through, and women are naturally, more often than not, they're naturally more. Um, they have a natural affinity for other women, and that expresses itself in so many different ways. You know, and it's just a different nature than what men. Men, we have our brotherhood but women have a different type of attraction with other women. It can be romantically, but then it can just be some type of feminine energy attraction, right? And that's a natural thing. Again, it can express itself romantically, or it just express itself just as a it's just a different dynamic. But this women who a lot of women who choose to conduct themselves or present themselves as butch. A lot of times, of course, it could be natural. It could just be natural. Maybe they grew up with brothers and stuff like that. But a lot of them it's a defense mechanism. Is what I'm trying to say. But when because they've the men in their life have failed to uh, show them what a man, the essence of a true man, and so they feel like they have to compensate and take on those characteristics and to do that to protect themselves. But when they're in the presence of I've seen it time and time again to where when they're in the presence of a real man who doesn't make them feel threatened, who is able to who's able to show what a real man in his full capacity is like, and is able to who is able to tap into or is able to bring out the femininity, the inherent femininity in them, then they will revert to that. And I've said that many times, but that's the true thing. But so this particular acquaintance of mine that we got real cool. We got into a season where we would just go out. It's just I would see her frequently through work, through business, and just as a casual. For some reason, we just hung out, and we just hung out at this particular place for a season. This went on for a season, and she became basically my wingman, and yeah, she was a very valuable asset for me at that time, and just because it was just it was fascinating to watch, man, because no one can appeal to a woman like another woman, right? And I'm gonna tell you this story. Well, first off, her and our first interaction, yeah, she was butch, and she was. I didn't. I think she was just more just confused and just kind of free spirited in a lot of ways. And she had a child, so obviously she had been with a man. But she told me through the course of a conversation she had been with a man with probably over a decade. And then she told me she had never met a man like me again. Humbly speaking, I was able to appeal to her femininity. I was able to make her feel comfortable in her femininity, and through all her facade, like she was never like she always wore jeans and boots and just looked like she kind of dressed like a biker, so to speak. It wasn't just she wasn't just all the way butch and stud with it, but she just carried herself in a very masculine way. But she was cute, man. Like again, I've said you have to be a connoisseur and a curator of beauty and be able to have your eye keenly attuned to beauty in women. And when they see that you see they're sexy, they're beautiful, their feminine energy, they're attracted to that. They're turned on by that. And so and of course the alcohol heightened it. Her and I we ended up, long story short, I ended up fucking her this first time that we not the first it wasn't the first time that we hung out, but it was one time that we hung out and we got a little extra saucy. And I got to when I get drunk, when I get inebriated my words and my words just flow effortlessly, and my game is just, man, it's immaculate. And her and I were her and I were interacting in this bar, and yeah, it got to that point, man. I was able to hit certain triggers, and I got that basically. I was able to make her slip into her femininity, and yeah, I got that. When and for all her studliness and manliness, when I got her back to the spot, and she got out those clothes, she was all woman, and she acted accordingly, and it was beautiful. It was fun, man. It was an adventure. It was fun. So from that moment on, once I touched her, and I performed to my I'm performing with my capability, with the highest capability. Once I did that, and yeah, to make a dyke come, to make a stud come, boy, and like I said, she hadn't been. I know she hadn't been with a man in a decade, so that was ego boost times 10. Boy, I tell you that, to make her come like that, and yeah, bro, yeah, the floodgates, Niagara Falls, boy, I tell you, she was, yeah, that was hot, man. I'm just sitting there thinking about it, man. I hadn't thought about it. Well, that was kind of hot, bro. Anyway, made her do that. So obviously, once you do that, um, let me find this clip. What Eddie Murphy say? Ooh, you may go ooh. It's over. So I did that. So she was smitten, man. She was gone, right? So so now I can have my way in a different way, right? We hang out, and I'm very careful about the rules of engagement. We ended up hanging out again, and she had to. It was funny to see because now she was awkward. She didn't know how to conduct herself around me. She she found herself even trying to be even more so nonchalant and butch, but it was just obvious she couldn't help herself. And so me being the young opportunist that I was like, let me see if I can get her to. I had it in my mind. I want to have a threesome by way of her with her, and so I presented that to her, and so we went on a quest to find us a young lady partner, and that became our thing for a little season, right? Where we would just her and I would go out, we would find us a partner, female partner, and we would go back to her place, and we'd make it happen, man. And it was that was a fun time. That was a fun time for what it was at that for that season. Life is all about seasons. The older you get, and you can, in hindsight, that's why you appreciate every moment that you're in, because the only thing is cliche, but it's true. The only thing constant in life is change. So enjoy the season that you're in, good or bad, good, bad, or indifferent. Just be mindful of it, and always take a moment to really grasp, take it in. There's always going to be indelible moments that just stick out in your brain. You want to feel the full capacity of that, and no matter what it is, if it's a hard time, you want to just really feel it. Feel the full grasp of that pain so that you don't have to go back to that. You'll experience another type of pain, but you won't experience that pain in that same manner if you really take in, and it's really you have to take in the lesson. So what I'm saying in this situation, I really just took in the lesson. I remember very vivid moments of awareness and clarity and mindfulness, and just really taking in the moment. Like, okay, this will probably never be like this again. I'm really enjoying this. This is fun. I got me and my lesbian wingman, and we picking up chicks and we knocking them down. And she was a little sinister too, man. So uh we were able to find a few females and be able to extract more than just sex out of them. Be able to take advantage of some situations for our gain financially and and otherwise, for our advantage, for food, different events, different just access to different things, resources. So she was on that type of time, as far as just always maximizing your time and your opportunities and resources. So she was a very, very advantageous ally to have. And then we would have fun. We became very much business partners in a lot of ways, and we would go out and do our deeds as far as advancing our our resources and advancing our what it was that we needed done, and then we would go out, get drunk, and pick up chicks and go back and have fun. Or if we didn't pick up someone, then her and I would go back and have fun. And it was funny that every single time, it was the same pattern with her. Every time after we fucked, make her come, squeal, squirm, and squirt. She would have like a kind of like a post nut clarity, and be very standoffish toward me. It was funny to watch. She couldn't control herself because something in her, I guess, something in her didn't want a man like me to. Uh, Something in her didn't want to a man like me to break her down, but I did. She was that probably that probably shook her ego a little bit. Her wannabe masculine ego, but she enjoyed it. She always she always came back, but then she got her a girlfriend, and then she found herself in a serious relationship. And I don't know. I lost touch with her. I don't even remember her. And it's crazy. I don't even remember her name. I was sitting there trying to think of her name. It's crazy. We spent a nice little season of time together, and I don't even remember her name. I can't remember her name for nothing. That's shameful, man. That's just shameful. But yeah, man, and I just wanted to talk to that. I'm really just telling a story, but um, in case you didn't understand or know about the concept of a lesbian wingman, it's a real thing. It's a very real thing. Like, if you desire to have a threesome, there's no better way than to get you a lesbian. Of course, of course. Well, not all threesomes are lesbian involved. Some women are just free spirited like that, and not necessarily lesbian. But if there's no better way to to have a threesome than to get you a lesbian, or if you just want to have someone, if you're not one to cold approach women, have a little proxy, someone who can play the true role of a wingman, maybe go over and introduce and make an introduction beforehand. You could do that. I really never used that in that capacity because I'm like, I've never been, I never was scared to go approach someone, like, to approach a female. Um, I get nervous and anxious just like anybody else, but I do get scared. As a businessman, as a salesperson, I make sales calls, and I hate it. I hate it. I'm scared and nervous every time, but I do it scared. So people say do it fearlessly. No, do it scared. If you do it fearlessly, that means it probably doesn't mean a whole lot. It probably doesn't probably not a big pot on the other side of the rainbow, a pot of gold on the other side of the rainbow. The adventure is scary. The adventure is supposed to be scary for the pot of gold on the inside of the rainbow. If that makes sense. Does that even make that damn sense? But y'all know what I'm saying, man. Do it. Don't do it fearlessly. Do it scared. But anyway, yeah, the concept of a lesbian wing man is a real thing, man. Get you a lesbian wingman if you don't have one. So that's it, man. I forgot to tell you, like, share, subscribe, all of that, man. Comment. Tell me about if you have a lesbian wingman story. Go ahead, comment about that. Tell me about that. It's your buddy, your pal, your friend, your teacher, your guide, your old uncle artist, ABW. Signing out. Sayonara. Hashataki. All right, yeah. Peace and blessings.